Are you excited to meet my favorite artiste? That's right. Today, we talk to Erica Arndts, local artist, loves to do murals, and a phenomenal human being. Come on in. Can't wait to show you everything she does.
Welcome to the Dayton Approved Podcast with Frank O'Neill. This is where the local Dayton businesses get a spotlight.
Welcome to Dayton Approved, exploring Dayton's small businesses and nonprofits with Dayton Discount Furniture. Today we've got Erica Arndts here, and she is Erica Arndts, the artiste. I said I wouldn't do it, but I had to. I couldn't control myself. So, how are you doing today, Erica?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Frank?
I am doing wonderful as well. It's actually a hot day in October here, so I can't complain.
Yeah.
Can't complain. So yes, Erica has done a lot of different things in the community, and she's here to explain everything that she's done. She has done our own mural here at Dayton Discount Furniture, and we've known Erica, well, I've known Erica for a long time now, so.
I was thinking about was it high school?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
So it would have been probably 2002.
It's just a few years ago.
Yes, just a few. Yeah, I didn't talk to anyone freshman or sophomore year, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say 2002.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe 3.
Dang.
Who cares? Give or take a year, right?
It's just been a while.
It's been a
little
long
while.
time. Yes,
We've known each other for a while.
Yes, so it's been a while, and we actually have our 20-year anniversary coming up, which is really crazy to think about.
That is bizarre.
I know. I was thinking about that. I know we talked about this before in the pre-show, but yeah, it's pretty wild to think about. So I don't feel that old.
I don't either. I do. I feel wiser.
Yeah.
Definitely more mellowed out than what I was in high
Right.
school. But just the wording of 20 years sounds a bit much.
Yeah.
Like, could we say something else? Like we're just having a reunion. We don't need to leave like the year in there.
Yeah, we could. We could just say we're having a
reunion.
Yeah, reunion, or what the the cool kids, what they're doing now is they're calling them kickbacks.
What?
Yeah, that's what they call like hanging out, in small groups, and they're just hanging out.
It's a
they're
kickback.
They're called kickbacks.
Oh boy.
Not a big deal, just a little kickback.
Yeah,
I was like, I got these high school kids working. I'm like, what in the hell is a kickback?
Some of the things I hear the younger ones say, I'm like, did we used to talk like that?
We did say some weird stuff.
We did.
We did.
Yeah.
But
it's just
at the times, right?
Yeah, they're different now.
Just like the furniture, the 70s are coming back with the soft.
Yes, those couches, dude. Those couches are great. It's like bringing like shag carpet back, but on a couch.
Right. Well, let's get into it. We like to talk about the mission statement. And basically your mission statement is, you do more than just murals, but we'll talk about the mural portion, which is you like making murals that inspire the community. And basically you like beautifying spaces and bringing smiles to faces.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I think that's a catchy little phrase. Because when I see murals, it just brings a smile to my face. Like you're walking down the street and what would normally be just a regular brick building or something, then you see this beautiful piece of artwork, or maybe it's peculiar art, or it's just something different. It just might bring a smile to your face, or it evokes an emotion within you.
Absolutely.
Rather than, maybe just seeing a regular plain building.
Wall,
So I think it's neat to use your gifts that we've all been blessed with, and I have found what mine is, and I believe when you find what you're good at, you just stick to what you're good at. So
stay in your lane.
I should never be an accountant or anything else. I'm just going to stick with what I'm good at.
So how many murals, I don't know, maybe you know the exact number, but how many murals, if you had to put a guess, if you don't know the exact number, do you think you are up to now?
It's got to be close to 100. If I say I did, I would think I do minimum one per month for the last 10 years-ish.
Yeah, maybe a couple months off.
It's got to be approaching 100, I would think.
Wow.
Maybe I would say less, because 100 sounds like a lot.
Well,
but it wouldn't be too far off.
10 years, one a month, and if you didn't do them 2 months out of the year.
Yeah, there's always been times where I didn't.
Have you ever done 2 in a month?
Oh, several in a month.
Yeah.
Several. So
100 is probably there.
Yeah, it might be.
Wow.
I need to document that. I need to sit and
Yeah.
write down all the murals I've done.
Yeah, and see which is the 100th mural.
Yeah, gonna add
There
that
we
to
go.
my list.
There.
When I have my downtime, that's what I'm gonna do.
No, we gotta stop talking because I'm gonna add too many things to your list. I know that, how that can go. Well, that's good. Yeah, the mural here in Fairborn is definitely beautified. Fairborn. I noticed there's a couple other murals going around, and honestly,
Good.
anywhere I see a mural, it really does add value to the space.
Yeah, it's just something different.
And I believe you told me too, it's timeless. You know, it just stays
Mm-hmm.
and until somebody does something to it, it'll be there.
Yeah, it's not going to go away. I mean, you can see remnants of old murals or just old like Coca-Cola ads that
Yeah.
have been from the early, I don't know when Coca-Cola was started, but early-ish 1900s, I
Yeah.
think. So,
Yeah, on brick
and you
walls,
can
yeah.
still see them painted, and I don't know what kind of paint they used back then, but the paint
Yeah.
today is made to last. I always say it'll last minimum 20 years, minimum. So,
Yeah, I think Coca-Cola, they used blood.
oh,
No, joking.
you know, you just never know. Who knows what else
No,
is
that would have washed away. It wouldn't last 100 years, but it'd be kind of funny to say that, right?
the old pigment dies.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, let's get to your story. You've got a great, fascinating story. Let's hear it from start to finish. I'm excited to hear it fully. I don't know if I've heard the full story, so
Okay.
I'm excited to hear it from
All right, well,
start
I'll do
to finish.
the long, short version.
No.
somewhat.
Do the long version. The long version.
Okay. So I guess it started back when I was a kid. I was like any other kid, liked to color in coloring books, and I could hear my mom just stay in the lines, see if you can stay within the lines. And I thought I was pretty good. And when the Disney movies were coming out, we bought Disney movies like most people. And
We were a Disney family as well.
Yeah.
The old VHSs.
Yep.
Had
those
the
covers,
Yes.
have the spine sticking in like a
Yes.
bookshelf or something.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool.
So I, like most kids, was enamored with Disney movies, and I would sit and draw the Disney covers. And one day my mom came into my room and she saw, I think it was The Lion King that I was
Yeah.
drawing. And she's like, wow, that's really good. You traced that? And I said, no, I drew it. And she goes, well, show me how you did it. And I sat there and drew it. And that's when she realized, oh, she's good.
Yeah.
There's something here. So my parents were always really supportive, really nurtured that gift, I think, that they saw.
Yeah.
So they were always really encouraging, and yeah, I had basic crayons, markers, and I was always making posters and things like that. So I was always keen on the art classes in school, way more than like math class. I was just art class. That was really the only thing
Yeah.
I was interested in school. So loved middle school art class, high school art class. Really, I definitely found my voice in the art scene, I guess you could say, or just
Yeah.
I knew what I liked to do.
Yeah, you saw yourself really leaning towards all the art stuff. Mm-hmm. You're like, math class? Nah.
No.
Nah.
Nothing else. It was just art. Yeah, art, or the art class and pottery class. I loved pottery too.
Okay. Well, that's art as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of painting in high school. I did, someone actually, this is wild. So at the end of the year, senior year at Centerville, there was like always like a big art display that all the senior students, and they show their artwork. And I had like this 8-foot Jimi Hendrix painting that raised some controversy because he was smoking a doobie in the painting.
Oh, back
And,
then, that was a big deal.
I know, it was a big no-no, apparently.
Yeah.
And I also did a self-portrait painting on this like raggedy piece of cardboard. And for anyone listening out there, I would love to know if someone knows what happened to this, because that painting disappeared.
Someone stole it.
Someone stole my self-portrait in high school. And to this day,
Wow.
it's one of my favorite paintings I've ever done, because
Really?
it was very pivotal, and like it was like an expression of what I was going through personally
Yeah.
at the time. goes back to you never know what someone's going through. If someone's
Yeah.
having a bad day or
Yeah.
whatever, and then someone steals your painting.
Yeah, that's
And I'm
crazy.
like, wow. So
I think I remember that.
really?
I think I remember hearing about that, and it was like a big deal at school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Because everyone was looking for it.
Yeah, it was weird.
Interesting.
Still to this day, I have no idea. But
Well, whoever took that painting, I want you to bring it back to the
I
20-year
know.
reunion, and don't say who it was. Just let it be
just
there.
let it show up
And
anonymously.
How wild would that be? It's just
Right?
there.
That would be pretty amazing.
Got to put it in the universe.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
I forgive
Whoever's
you,
watching.
whoever
yes.
it was. I forgive you. Just
Bring it to the 20-year
yeah.
reunion.
I have photographs of it. I have
that's
in
good.
different places. Yeah, yeah, but
Man.
yeah, interesting. But yes,
never know, might come
so painting and art class. That's where I really discovered loving to paint. And I was listening to tons of classic rock, so I loved painting musicians and things that inspired me at the time. Fast forward to college, went to UC in the DAT program for fine art. Really did not like it though. It was
Really?
brutal.
I heard that was a pretty good program, though, at UC.
Excellent program, like one of the top in the country.
Yeah.
But the
Should have went to SCAD. I went to when I lived in Savannah.
yeah.
Yeah, SCAD was like
Yes.
big time.
Oh
in the
yeah,
art
they're
stuff.
they're still huge.
Yeah, yeah.
definitely. I did not like art school though. I hated it. It was at least the fine art classes. They were 4 hours of just sitting drawing like a still life. That's what they call them, and it's like plants and fruit. And you just had to sit and draw that for 4 hours. And then you take your drawing and put it up on the chalkboard. Everyone puts their drawing up. And then the teacher would go through every drawing and say what was right and what was wrong. And I was terrible at drawing. I was really good at
Yeah.
painting, not good at drawing.
Yeah, not good at drawing.
So my drawings got annihilated
Yeah.
by this teacher. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hate this class. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
brutal. This
Just
isn't
brutally
making me
ripping
better.
you a new
This
one
is,
every class.
mortifying me. It
God.
was so bad. I'm like, I don't like this anymore. I just want to paint for fun. Like,
Yeah.
screw this. I need to do something else. So I got into fashion design, moved to California. I was designing leather jackets. I had an internship. I wanted to find out who made Steven Tyler's leather jackets, and I wanted to work for them because I
Okay.
loved Steven Tyler. at the
Yeah.
time. So I found the company who made their leather jackets.
Really?
And I reached out to them and said, hey, do you need an intern? And they said, yes. So I moved out to California and did an internship out there. And I was supposed to come back to UC, but I secretly moved out there. And I just
Yeah.
didn't tell my parents. And I had to tell them one day. Like, I think they were probably like asking for my plans of my return back to Ohio, and I said I actually transferred schools and I'm staying out here.
I'm not coming back.
I'm coming back.
Oh man.
I know, and I knew before going to California that I wasn't gonna come back, so I had my whole apartment already packed up in Cincinnati.
Oh,
and I had
wow.
friends staying there, and so then I said, can you go get my stuff out of my, actually now looking back, I'm like, God, Erica, that was really bad. That's pretty messed up. So finished school in California with at a fashion school, worked in the fashion industry for about 3 years. Didn't like it though.
Yeah.
I'm not like some fashionista kind of girl, but I liked using art in a different way and learning about sewing and design.
Right.
So I learned a bunch of stuff, but I did not like all the cutthroat type. It just wasn't
Sounds
my
like
thing.
yeah. I feel like when you start working for a corporation and you start doing stuff like that, I call it like office politics.
Yeah.
It's
This
weird.
is fashion politics.
Yeah.
Like, I remember
Backstabbing. No one's your friend. Everyone's out for themselves.
very catty.
Catty. Yeah, that's a
Catty.
great word.
Talk
for
about catty industry. And
Yeah.
also, sweatshops.
Yeah.
I worked for Forever 21, and everybody in there was Korean, which
Yeah.
was really neat. They made lunch every day, which was awesome. It was really cool to be
Yeah.
immersed in their
In that-
culture.
Yeah, in that type of culture. Yeah.
Language barrier was really challenging.
Oh, I'm sure.
Unbelievably challenging. I couldn't speak to anybody. There were 3 people that maybe other people spoke English, but those were the only ones that would talk to me.
Yeah.
And
So you had 3 friends. That's good.
3 friends there. And it was, I mean, long hours. It was a lot. So decided to pack up the fashion show in 2008 when the market crashed. No one was hiring,
Yeah.
mid-level fashion designers. So
Well, I remember when the market crashed, my degree was in personal finance,
okay.
financial advising.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then the
Okay.
market crashed.
It was just a bad time for everybody.
Yeah, so nobody was looking for a young guy that was a financial advisor. There's a lot of them out there looking for jobs.
Right. Everybody was looking for a job at
Yeah.
that time. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And fashion was like the lowest on the totem pole.
Right.
For needs, at least for like societal priority. Fashion
Yeah.
was not priority. So I decided to move to Georgia, worked as a physician recruiter for 5 years. It paid the bills, which was great.
Yeah.
All that financially was great, but I was just,
Were you good at it?
I talked to doctors and negotiated their pay. I was handling their schedules, like managing 30 doctors at a time,
Yeah.
which was something I never saw myself ever doing in my life.
Right.
But I did it, and
I'm trying to picture it now.
right, just cold calling. I was
Oh,
cold
wow.
calling every day, and now looking back, it was. I learned a lot. Learned a lot about business. Learned a lot of just how to talk to people, talking to
Yeah.
professionals. So everything, there's always a lesson in everything that happens.
Oh, absolutely.
So it wasn't for me long term at all, but it definitely, I use a lot of those skills today that I learned in those jobs. But after a while, it was just like, I cannot do this. Like, I miss being creative. It was almost like I forgot that I did art.
Yeah, it's kind of
It
like
was
you
like-
kind of shut it down maybe for a
Yeah.
little bit.
It was just gone. It was
Yeah.
just, I was so worn out from the fashion stuff, and I wasn't really painting that much at all anymore. So it was almost like I forgot that I could even do it. So
So how'd you spark it back up?
my sister, when she had kids, she lived in Georgia, and she had me paint their kids' nursery.
Okay.
And painted their playroom, and I painted a mural. And that was actually the first mural I'd ever painted, was in her house in their playroom. And I'm like, wow, this is really neat. And it was so cool how it all just perfectly came together. And then my other sister had me paint her kids' room. I'm like, this is really cool. It'd be cool if I could do this more often. But this was really before Instagram, Facebook, maybe it might have been before Facebook. This is probably like 2010, 11.
So Facebook came out our freshman year of college, and it was
Okay.
only for the top colleges, and then by the end of freshman year, pretty much all the colleges had it. And
So
it was
2004, 5.
so yeah, 2005 is when it really kind of took
Okay.
off. But it was only college.
Yeah.
And then they let other people in, and
Right,
then they let
you're right.
everybody in, which
Right.
was crazy.
And I think I'm guessing 2010, it wasn't really used as like personal advertisement for businesses. It was just
It was-
like
yeah.
writing your favorite song lyric for the day or
Yeah, I don't
whatever.
think the business stuff really started taking off till later on.
Right. So I wasn't using it for art, but there was a time, I think it
But
was
Instagram, I don't think was around yet. I think Instagram came later on.
2013, I
Yeah.
believe, ish. And that's what I saw it opened my eyes to other muralists.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, wow, people are doing this for a living. Like,
Yeah, and
so
then you
it-
can connect with them too.
yeah.
which is what's interesting.
And I have like one of my really good friends, he and I were still great friends to this day, met him through Instagram. And it's been amazing, like the friendships I've created through social
I don't know
media.
if it would be the same way in today's world though, with how social media has evolved.
Yeah.
Like back then, it was like really like, oh my god, this is
Yeah.
exciting, this is good,
And it was
now it's
real
like-
people.
Yeah, now it's like
You didn't
turn-
have to like, is
turn
this
in-
like a real
this creep?
person or is this, what is
AI?
this? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I've got like a handful of friends that I met early in the days
Mm-hmm.
of Instagram, which is really cool. And they're all over the country, all over the world. And and that's where I decided, okay, I'm going to start sharing my stuff out here. And so I started sharing my paintings. And then it was like, well, I should paint more. So what I did, I would wake up at like 5 in the morning before my physician recruiting job. I would paint in the morning before work, paint when I got home.
Oh, wow.
And it also kind of helped keep me out of trouble. Just like going out, Atlanta was a wild time, as you can imagine. And so it was nice to keep me in check. And I knew if I wanted to sell paintings, that I need to buckle down and make use
be
of
serious
my time.
about it.
So I would be painting in the morning and painting at night. Don't go out. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your brain cells. Just let's see if I can sell some artwork. And then it just slowly started happening. And then finally it was to the point where I was just not into the job anymore. So I thought, I'm going to just go wait tables somewhere, and I'll have a flexible schedule. I can wait tables in the evening, and I can paint all day.
Yeah.
And I can just put more time into it. And that worked. So I did that for about 2 years, and then got tired of waiting tables, not my strong point.
Yeah.
And so I got on
Should
it.
have done bartending.
No.
Probably. You think that would have been worse?
Probably.
Really?
And
It's
I don't
easy
like,
to just make a drink and here you go.
and
You
I
got
don't
small
do well
talk.
I'm good with the small talk. I'm terrible waiting tables, actually.
Yeah.
Like spilling trays.
Well, that's what I'm
forget
saying.
it.
If you're a bartender, you just here you go, here
Yeah.
you go, here you go.
But then you're also
you're in the scene.
Yeah, I didn't like staying up that late. I didn't like the hours. I didn't like, everybody hangs out afterwards and has
Yep.
a drink afterwards.
Yep.
Like, it's just not good for me. So I was really good to get out of that whole scene. So I joined this one woman, who's still a good friend of mine now, a handyman service.
Okay.
And I went around. It was me, her, and one of her other friends. It was all chicks, and we did
Handy woman service.
we did home repairs and house painting. So
That's
I thought,
awesome.
this is great. I don't have to deal with people. I just tell me what room to paint, and I'll paint it.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with people, annoying people, drunk people.
Right.
It was such a great segue. It was so nice. And I learned a lot about painting and house paint and
How to paint
exterior,
on, yes.
on brick, on
Yeah.
wood, on all surfaces.
It's a great missing piece to the puzzle
Yes.
for murals.
Exactly. So I learned a lot with that. And then I moved to Mexico for a brief time. And that's when the murals really started for me. I mean, I was doing a lot of murals in Atlanta when I lived there. But when I moved to Mexico, that really opened my eyes to worldly painting and people who, like, this is their life. Where for me, it was more like, I'm going to do this and make money. And, that's great if I need an extra job, but I wanted to do it full time. Going to Mexico, seeing how these people work, and like more so like they're not doing it for money. They're doing it because the passion is so strong to express themselves. And I'm like, gosh, I would love it if I could just paint what I want to paint and not just paint, painting for people's businesses is one thing, but like to find someone who will let me paint what I like to paint on their home or something, like I didn't know people allow that.
Yeah.
But down there, it was just, you can paint what you want on our walls. We'll pay you for the supplies, but we can't pay you. But you can paint
whatever you want.
Beautiful jungle scene or whatever.
Yeah, here's a giant canvas.
Yeah. So that's where I always have like this inner conflict of, I need to go back to Mexico so I can just get some of my own stuff out that I want to paint, because no one's going to let me do that up here.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. So, yeah, and then I'd say 10 years later, here I am.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the long, short, medium version I guess, of the story.
No, that's great. That's great. So painting stuff that you want is what you were kind of ending with there, and going back to Mexico to get that out.
Yeah.
Describe that, because I think the average artist or the average person that's not an artist
Yeah.
doesn't know what that means.
Right.
They don't understand that inner feeling that you're talking about.
So like, for your mural, for example, it's specific for your business. I
Right.
might come up with different ideas and then you'll say, this is kind of the direction I want to go. So that's what I paint. It's
Right.
tailored to my client, which makes sense. If someone's going to pay you
Yeah.
money to paint on their business, it's obviously going to have to do with their business.
Yeah.
So down there and also I painted in Indonesia, France, Italy, Mexico. Those were all places that I painted whatever I wanted to.
Really?
Yeah, so I like to paint wherever I am. I want to paint something native to their culture. So in Indonesia, I painted like these adorable little Balinese kids. Painted like an underwater scene, painted a tiger. I like painting nature, like naturey things, and painting cultural rich icons.
Okay,
Or
yeah.
just community members, not icons, just people from the community. So in Mexico, I loved painting Mayan people. Find a girl on the street, ask her if I can take her picture, and paint her picture up on the building. And
Yeah.
then you're literally using a local girl as your model, and they get their painting on the wall, which is cool. So it's kind of...
Yeah, you should go around and just paint cenotes on walls around here.
Yeah, see how that goes. Right, exactly.
I'd love it. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool if I could find some people. I mean, downtown Dayton, especially too. I could find some. And I actually think this would be a great idea. Find some homeless people
Yeah.
and do their portraits on
Yeah.
a building, and like walking down the street and you see an image of that on a building, it will evoke an emotion. It
Oh,
will
yeah.
you will be touched in different ways
For sure.
emotionally. And I think that's important. Like, it's nice to have all the happy, fun, positive murals, but I think it's also important to do things that are a little off kilter, that's like, whoa, because it's like, it just shines a light on different parts of the community. There's good parts and there's some not good parts. So like downtown Dayton, if anybody has a building, I can paint something a little more emotionally driven. I would totally be down to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that sounds really. Yeah, I was just thinking. You're gonna have to remind me after we do the recording. You sparked some interest.
Okay.
But we can't record that because it's
Got it. Off recording.
off recording.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
So, well, no, that's a fascinating story. I mean, you've gone to a bunch of different places across the world. You've seen a lot of different cultures, and you basically learned how to do the whole mural thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really a class, as I say. Do murals.
No, I mean,
That
I
could
wonder
be something you could
now.
probably create, maybe.
Yeah,
might be
I
something out
wonder
there like
if
that.
they do that in college now. If there's like a mural course.
Yeah.
I wonder. I wouldn't be surprised if there is now,
Yeah. No, that's pretty.
but definitely not when I was in school.
No. It's amazing how things have changed. I remember when I was in school too. They were saying, now, just so you know, like, this class is going to help you because, like, I forget what they said. It was like 50% of jobs that are out there today won't exist, and there's another 50 that will. We don't even know what they're going to be.
Right.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
That's not very.
Yeah.
Doesn't make me feel good as I'm spending thousands of dollars on this schooling.
Well, that's a whole other story, right? It's a whole other topic.
College is a scam.
Yeah, that's another topic.
Another day. You need to have an off the cuff.
I do
series.
have one. I do have one.
The underground, the basement talks.
Yeah, it's the underground rabbit hole.
Yes.
And I have the website and everything. I got
love
a couple of
it.
recordings, but
All right, you call me when you're ready for
a lot
mine.
of people don't want to release it because they're afraid of what the blowback. Let's put it.
I'm not afraid. After
know
what
you're not-
happened
I
to
know
me in
you're not.
Atlanta, I am not afraid.
I know. We're going to get to that too. I'm excited about that. But let's get to bullet point number 3 because, we got to keep on moving down the line, right?
Okay.
So one of the questions that we ask is contributing to the local community economy, how you do that. I know basically with the murals and everything, it's essentially, you're giving the building a facelift.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what I do is giving back to the community through artwork. So, like you, for example, you could have just painted your building. I think you did. You had just repainted your building.
I did.
You did. You had just repainted it. So maybe for someone who didn't repaint just yet, or it's a new business that's moving into a space and they're thinking of, okay, how can we redo the building? What can we do?
But that's what I did.
And save costs.
Yeah.
So rather than put a giant sign out, which would cost thousands, signs are really expensive.
So my sign cost me $11,000, and that was a deal because he's the guy that makes the signs for everyone in Dayton.
Wow.
So everyone else quoted like 15, 20.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just give you an idea.
Murals are the way to go.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's a fraction of the cost.
I know, that's crazy. But we'll get into the pricing of that as well a little bit later. But yeah, it not only does it, like you were saying, gives it a facelift, but it also does advertisement.
Yeah, it's kind of like a twofer. You get a building facelift, you get a fresh paint job, and advertising to your business. I mean, murals now, the photo opportunities for people in the community, everybody wants their photo in front of a mural. So you're getting them to advertise for you because they're putting it on their social media.
We have definitely had people stop and do that in front of our mural.
Yep. I saw it on the Google reviews.
Yeah.
I was when I pulled your address up, I'm like, there's the mural. I love that. So yeah, they're very trendy right now.
They are.
Yeah.
They are trendy right now. So that is interesting. Do you find that perspective a little bit battling compared, for what you're trying to do? Because I feel like that kind of is like a subculture created for the murals compared to what the murals were really meant to do.
I mean, it depends how you look at it. Murals can be for advertising, or they can be expressions of art, just artistic expressions, like the ones in Mexico where I don't think I painted a few businesses, but majority were just buildings, and no business name on them. Like I just painted like Mayan girls or jaguars, just beautified the building, but it wasn't to bring business to the building. It was just make this building beautiful, do whatever you want. So I feel like that definitely does exist here. Like I see tons of artists who paint whatever they want, or there's some really off the wall types of artwork out there now, and I'm like, how did they get the building to agree to let them do that? But it's probably through like mural festivals. They're really encouraging artists to paint whatever you want. We provide the building, you provide the artwork. So but it'll take I think a different kind of business that's going to allow an artist to just come in and do whatever they want. I would think most businesses want something related to their business. It's an advertisement. If they're spending money, they want it to be for their business.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, it's like, I want something to be like with the mural that we did here. It's like I want it to be Fairborn, I want it to be Ohio related, and I definitely want my logo on it.
Right. So it makes sense.
So we can tie it all together that we are part of the community. I get it. You kind of it's not 100%, authentic as far as it is authentic, but it's not 100% like driven by Ohio and Fairborn.
Yeah,
it's a blend. It's supposed to blend it all together.
It's for yours is specific to your business. And other murals in other places, like on the side of someone's house or on a barn, that's where I can kind of go and just really do some different types of stuff. But for businesses, my thought is always they're going to want something for their business specifically, which makes sense. Which I'm happy to do all of it. I like to do all of it. I like simple murals. I like billboards. I like all of it. So.
So what are some differentiators, is what I always say. What makes you different than other artists? I know we talked about this briefly before, and I guess this really isn't for an artist. Every artist is different.
Right. That's kind of the cool thing of being an artist. You can hire an HVAC person, you can hire a plumbing service, you can hire a house painter, and they're all going to provide the same service. You might look at their reviews or see who the cost differential. But with a muralist, you really have to do your research, and because we are all different. Like my painting style isn't going to be the same as another Dayton area artist. So that's what's cool, where the client, they can look at different people's portfolios and then see, okay, she's going to be the best one for me, or that guy's going to be well suited for what I'm looking for. So it's, we're naturally all different.
Yeah. So as far as like the creative art process, I guess you could say, like when you're actually painting on the wall, I mean, you're pretty much out there by yourself. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't have like the person that owns the building sitting there like,
no, and I no, and I don't have like assistants or anything.
right.
I do it
so
all
you're
by
just
myself.
doing it all, on your own, and you're putting it out there and you're doing it, and it's from a business perspective, it's okay. This is how much we're paying for it.
Yeah.
Okay, we agree on the price. When can you do it? Okay, and you do it, and it's done.
Yeah.
Like it's like that's about it.
Yeah, they're hands off.
Yeah.
It's just, okay,
It's
we'll
literally
see you
for art.
tomorrow and
Yeah.
see the progress. So
Yeah.
it's nice, and I do well just when the client can trust me for what I'm doing, and they feel comfortable with me in their building after hours or whatever. Then it's just, I'm in my element. I can just do what
get
I
in the
need to
zone.
do. I'm not being, no one's, behind me just staring, watching my, or asking like, are you going to do this to that? Which there still always is people,
Yeah.
which, that's just part of it. Like, well, I think in the design you were going to do this. And I was like, yeah, I haven't gotten there yet, but.
Exactly. Just let me do my thing.
I've heard everything under the sun of typical comments you'll hear from people.
Yeah.
It's usually, I can't draw a stick figure. If I had $1 every time I've heard that, that's definitely the comment.
Yeah, I get people that are like, oh, there's no price tag on that, so I guess it's free. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. I just want to knock them down, like, that's not funny. It's extremely dumb.
The things people say is pretty great.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
No price
It can
tag,
be
it's
pretty
free.
predictable too.
Yeah, sometimes I'll joke with them back, but
Yeah, you
I
got
don't know.
to.
It's like at a certain point where you've heard the same thing over and over again.
I know, and now
You're like,
I'm to
you
the point
gotta
where
go, I gotta get creative.
yes,
I'm
that's
bored.
when you got to get creative responses.
Yeah.
Where I say, if you knew how many times I've heard that, like I'd be a very rich person if I had $1.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because we're getting old.
I know, maybe. Gosh.
Well, let's get down to the next point, which is, let's see, what sets you apart or different from others? Nope, we just did that one. What am I talking about? All right, sorry, number 5. We're going to talk about some successes and milestones you've hit. Now, you said 10 years earlier. That is a huge, huge milestone.
Yeah.
Because
I
most
think,
businesses go out of business.
Really?
So here's how it works. You take 10 businesses and you see how they're doing in 1 year. 9 of them go out of business.
Wow.
Okay? Then you take those same ones that survived and you go back 9 more years. So 10 years, only 1 survives.
Whoa.
So to hit a 10-year mark in the business world, you have a 1% chance.
Wow, I feel really special.
So
Every day is a blessing.
welcome to the 1%.
Yes. Gosh.
Not the 1% that they try to, look like villains, but
Right.
the real 1%.
The good 1%.
Yes.
Yes, the surviving 1%.
So yes, it's a very,
Well,
very
and-
10 years is very, very, very
and I would
big.
say 10 years loosely, because I feel like I stopped my physician recruiting job. There's been crossover, so
But you still started it.
yeah, I quit my full-time salary paid job
Yeah.
in 2014. It was 2014 or 15. I think 15, beginning of
So
15.
I would argue you're hit it.
Yeah, I'm there.
Close.
Yeah.
You're going to hit it. You're not
Yeah.
stopping.
No.
Full
no.
steam ahead. You're
I
not looking
can't-
like, oh my God, I'm ending this.
No, I can't do anything else.
Yeah,
I'd
so
be in real bad
you're
shape.
there. You're
if I
there.
stopped painting.
So yeah, so you said it. So yeah, 10 years basically of doing this. Now, how has that been? Was it? I'm sure it was frightening at first. It always is. We're
Yeah.
like, this is how I'm going to have an income. This is it. This is what we're
quitting-
doing.
Quitting the salary was huge because it's just anytime you step into an unknown situation, a big unknown where you have I go to work at this time and I get home at this time and I get paid every 2 weeks and I know my pay and then I'll also get a commission, making good money. So there was a lot of, oh my gosh, am I really going to do this? Like, am I that unhappy enough to walk away? And it's like, yes, I am. So I need to make the change. And I feel like you can only grow from those decisions.
Absolutely.
There's no bad decision.
So you got past the fear, which is the big one. And now you're doing this. You've been doing it for 10 years, almost, basically. We're just going to call it 10
Yeah,
years.
we'll say 10.
What is that? Do you remember that feeling of when you got past that fear and you're like, this was the right decision? Because when you're doing that rat race and you're doing that, I'm getting paid 2 weeks or whatever it is, and and that schedule and that predictability, but now you're just in free land, I guess you could say it.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you
I would
remember that
say-
point at all? Like, this was it? This was great? Or did it come at the same time?
No, it took years.
Yeah.
I'd say the first.
That's what most people say.
Yeah, I'd say when I moved back to Ohio after living in Mexico, that's when things really ramped up, where I saw the light at the end of the tunnel, because it was probably 2015 to the mid 2019 was hard. It was doing the home repair stuff and murals. Sometimes I had a bunch of murals lined up and then I couldn't work the home stuff as much, and then sometimes it was just full-time home repair stuff because maybe it was just a mural here or there. So then it was like, okay, is this ever going to take off? Am I ever going to be able to do this full-time? Because it's my schedule. There is no guaranteed work every month. I mean, even right now, I'm like, what's coming in next month? Sometimes it's months are booked out in advance, which is great.
Of course.
And then sometimes it's like, what's happening next week?
Yeah.
Wait, there's got to be something big around the corner. If there's crickets, I tell myself there's something big around the corner. Then if it's a little quiet, then something big's brewing. And I just you have to have faith.
Patience.
Yes, a lot of faith and a lot of patience.
Yeah, yeah. And what's interesting about letting, I guess you could say, your type of business grow is literally letting it grow. And that's the patience factor. It's like growing a plant.
Yes.
You're like, when's it going to sprout? What's happening? And then all of a sudden it just,
And
you
it
got
might
3
have
weeks of
setbacks.
nothing, right?
Might
And
have
then
a
all of a
deep
sudden it's like,
freeze.
boom, there we go.
Yeah, and it does have,
Yeah.
there's always ebbs and flows. Even today, there are ebbs and flows, dips and valleys, and high points too. So wintertime can be iffy, and you'd think with Christmas and holidays it would be raging, but a lot of people don't do murals at that time.
No.
So for
No,
me,
same
it's
with mattresses.
more quiet.
People aren't buying mattresses for their kids to put on their Christmas tree. Let's just be real. Okay. So everyone's like, "Oh, Christmas would be great." I'm like, "No,
No,
it's
it's-
terrible." But the week between Christmas and New Year's is great.
Okay.
Why? Because everybody got Christmas money, and they're like,
spend it.
"I'm going to spend it on me." And what do?
Yes.
You buy yourself a bed.
Yep, they got some nice sheets for Christmas.
Yes. So we are after Christmas.
Okay.
That does really well.
That's me too. Actually, that makes sense for me too, because a lot of people they're buying their gifts. They're not doing home repair stuff or
Right.
business repair stuff. The
Oh,
business
yeah.
repair will come after the holiday season when things
Yes.
are quiet.
Yep. December is probably the worst month for home repair. I
Yep.
guarantee it. It's
Yep.
got to be because everyone's focused on Christmas.
Yep.
And oh man, we overspent. And that's why January blows.
Yeah, yeah. I will get people who want like portraits done, pet
Okay,
portraits,
yeah.
family portraits, grandpa portraits. Last year, I painted a portrait of someone's first home, family first home. Pet portraits are huge. Anyone who needs a pet portrait, just call me. Those are good for holiday gifts. But then after January, I feel like is usually the worst.
Yeah.
But there's always those businesses that are quiet and they have the money, and that's when they want to do a revamping or get the mural up or start
Because they know it's
talking
the
about it.
best time of the year for them.
It's quiet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, and then springtime, it's full blown.
For us, it's tax season. So right at the end of February is when it starts popping off.
For sure. Everyone's getting their refunds.
Yep, and they're cold and they're not going anywhere, and they're like, I got to get a new couch.
They gotta go shopping.
Yeah,
Yep.
got to get that couch.
Yep, get cozy.
Yeah.
In the wintertime.
That warm 70s fuzz, baby. Let's go.
Or that big chase.
We're ready for we're ready for you.
Chase.
$14.99 Sherpas.
Yeah.
Now,
Love it. Love it.
yeah, that's how our cycle goes. But Thanksgiving we get a little bit of a boost because
Well, that's when everyone's
dining room
got their
tables.
sales.
Yeah, you got dining room tables for Thanksgiving,
Yeah,
and then
people
you've
need
got
tables.
oh, we need this because family's coming in. You got the sofa sleeper, you got a mattress.
Yes.
It's like always last minute. I didn't know we were doing Thanksgiving. You know, it's like
24-hour shipping.
Yeah, And I'm
Amazon
like,
style.
I don't know, man. Good luck. I always keep a couple of sleepers on hand just in case. Just in case. Well, that brings us to our next question, which is what are some challenges you've faced as a small business owner? And there's a couple of different things we've talked about. So let's first talk about price, because that's always kind of interesting.
Yes.
So
Price.
let's talk about, oh crap, I'm hitting my face there. Let's talk about price.
So price can be, I think it's like in the artist world, it can be a point of contention. It's like this weird, uncomfortable elephant in the room. Not for me, but I feel like for a lot of artists.
Yeah.
But price varies. And that's what I tell every client. There's no, like, I can't give out a price list of mural prices because every project is different. So, and some clients, they will have a bigger budget and some have a smaller budget where I'll give out my quote and they'll say, oh, we don't have that kind of money. Then that's when I say, all right, well, tell me what's your budget? What are you looking to spend? And I can tell you what I can make with that budget. So it's not, we don't have to shut the door on this, but, and sometimes I like to just ask people up front, what's your budget? What are you looking to spend? And then sometimes my clients get a little weird where they'll say, well, what would it normally be? Because they think I'm going to like do something weird on pricing. I'm like, but just if you have a set budget for this, it's easier if you tell me up front and then I know what I'm working with and I know what I can create with that.
It's exactly how I do it here as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, just what's the budget? It's
Yeah.
the polite way of saying how much you want to spend. I
Yeah.
get it. People don't want to talk about it sometimes, but I'm here to help you get what you can get, show you your different options. I don't want to waste your time and say, hey, this is something you should get.
Right.
And you are like, this is not, it's in left field. It's not going to happen.
Right.
Like, that's pointless.
Yeah. But then there's also clients where I say they want the sun, the moon, and the stars, and some
course.
elephants and giraffes. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to give them my quote, but I know.
They're going to want more.
Well, I know that they're going to be like, oh, well, you know, we don't have that, but could you still put all that in there? And then so I have to say, I'm sorry, I can't. Like, you're asking, this is a lot of work, and I could do a much simplified thing for you, but I tend to remind them, you know, paint is expensive right now. If I have to travel costs. Even just my daily commute, wherever I'm going, like Hocking Hills, I was driving to Hocking Hills every day.
Yeah, that's an hour.
For 2 hours a day.
Was it 2 hours?
2 hours there, 2 hours back.
Really?
Because it was cheaper.
I feel like it's like an hour from where I'm at here in Fairborn.
You're about 25 minutes from where
Maybe it's an hour
my
and a
parents
half.
are. This is actually outside of Hocking Hills. This is in
gotcha.
Nelsonville, closer to Athens.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
that makes sense.
but I like do all the calculations. What's going to be cheaper? Do I get a hotel? I mean, hotels, they're not as cheap as they used to be, and I'm not
No.
staying in some like nasty looking hotel.
Yeah, no
so.
Super 8?
Nope.
The Crack Motel?
Nope.
I still do it.
I'll do
I'm terrible.
Hampton Inn, Holiday Inn, maybe.
I still do it because I ride roller coasters. I'm big into roller coasters.
Okay.
So I don't care. I'm like,
Yeah.
give me the crap
You're a
one.
dude, and I'm a
I
chick, so
know.
I'm like Hampton Inn, Marriott.
that's true.
If I
That's
got a
true.
really good
That's true.
budget, we go all out and do a Marriott.
Yeah.
So it depends on the budget, but I'm like, it's actually cheaper if I just drive every day. A tank of gas is cheaper than a
Yeah.
hotel every day, which is like, you know, almost $125, $150 versus $40.
You know, a trailer could work. possibly? A nice glam trailer?
Well, I was actually going to camp out because I'm like, it's Hocking Hills.
Oh, yeah.
I'm camping.
Too
I'll
cold.
do car camping. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm totally down to do that. And I talked to the guy I was painting at a train, an engine house, like where they house all these train cars. And I told him, I said, hey, I think I'm going to just camp in my car at the KOA over here. And he's like, do you carry? And I said, I got a really great pocket knife. He goes, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I'm like,
You're probably going to want
is
a gun.
it that bad here? And he goes, it's just not how it used to be. And I'm like,
Wow.
dang. And he goes, and you're female, you're by yourself. So, I just, there's some homeless people, and, there's a little riffraff here and there. And I'm like, well, thank you for telling me. I mean, I
would never thought that either.
and I've camped there before. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking also, though, he's an older man. He sees a young female alone. I get it. I'm sure it could have been totally fine.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm going to take his recommendation. I'll just keep driving. It's fine.
Yeah. Why
Because
not?
the minute you feel a little off, if you know that going into it, you're going to have a terrible time because now you're thinking about it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the seed was planted.
Yeah. And we're in different times right now. Things are a little
Never
different
know.
here.
Yeah, things are a little different.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to another point. Let's talk about another challenge you had, and that
Oh,
was
yeah.
your Georgia mural cover-up.
Yes. Oh, sweet Georgia on my mind.
Yes. So we can get into as long as you want. Just so you know, we are getting close to the time anyway. So
Really? Okay,
Can
well,
you
I will
believe that?
briefly touch on this.
yeah,
So I don't need to bring any, like I said earlier, everything has a wonderful lesson.
yes.
So because we are in such polarizing political times right now, long story short, 8 years ago, I painted a mural at this burlesque dance studio. They're LGBTQ friendly, great girls, really sweet girls. And actually the owner of the building, I used to work with her at the
okay.
physician recruiting job. She was a friend of mine.
Wow.
And she reached out to me and she's like, hey, these girls are renting my space and they wanted a mural on the side of the building. And I thought of you. I was like, great, that's awesome. So back in whatever year that was, 8 years ago, I painted the mural for them. And I recently did a painting of the Trump assassination, famous image that's been
Yeah.
plastered everywhere. I painted that, and obviously I knew if I shared that image, it would, there's always going to be people who don't like presidential candidates, no matter what
Right.
side or whatever. And I've never shared my own political beliefs. I've always kept that really private 'cause
Yeah.
I really haven't had any political beliefs. I'm very
Yeah.
I just haven't been involved in any of it.
Yeah.
I usually stay out of it.
Focused on art.
I am, but now that I'm a little older and wiser, I know it's important to learn about this stuff and
Yeah. Well,
have
it
a
does
voice.
affect us all.
And the older you get, the more it affects you. So I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, okay, I have some opinions. So, and I was so touched by that moment in history
Yeah.
of Donald Trump getting shot and
Yeah.
standing up and the whole fight, everything.
Honestly, it really is that picture-esque moment.
Yeah.
It really was a interesting photo.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was,
and I think of,
from an artist's perspective, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
well, I just think JFK, he didn't get that opportunity to
Yeah.
stand up after that.
That's
I
true.
mean, and also we're in a time where everyone has cameras and everything's being recorded. So had that gone a different way for Trump, that would have been catastrophic.
Oh, yeah.
Images flying around and everything. So that night I actually painted a canvas of that image. I was just like, wow, I need to paint this. It's just a way for me to express myself.
Yeah.
Art is very therapeutic for me. So I painted that. I shared it online. I knew I'd get some heat from people who didn't care for him. That was expected. I'm like, whatever.
You're right.
Well, one of the business owners of the Atlanta burlesque studio, she saw that image and she commented on my photo and she's like, wait, you're pro-Trump? And I said, I'm just painting a moment in time, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't sharing anything. I am pro-Trump, though, for the record, and I'm okay to say that. I'm not polarized by
Right.
saying that. So And I think that painting really bothered her. And I'm assuming, well, it's not an assumption, I know now, that she likes Kamala Harris, and that's great. We need to get to a point where it's okay to have differences, and we can still do business with people. We can still be friends with people. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. It's okay. And it's just shocking where we are as a society today. Like, it's really sad. It's heartbreaking to see people cutting family members off, cutting friends out, cutting business partners out. Like, I've heard so many different stories, and it's such a shame. Like, we all want the same things. Right. We all want our basic needs met. We want to be able to put food on the table, have a roof over our head, have running water. Like, just, help your neighbor out. Be a good person. So it's okay if we might lean towards one side or another. It doesn't mean you have to cancel people out of your life. So anyway, the owner, I saw a Facebook post of hers shortly after that saying, she said some really harmful things about me on, I shouldn't say harmful. She said some very...
Just, I guess you say mean.
Not nice things.
Yes.
But inadvertently, she said something to the degree of, we're raising money to have a new mural painted on our building because we found out that the artist who painted our original mural has dehumanizing beliefs that are harmful to our community and whatever else. So I thought, it's paint over the mural. I don't care, but don't bring me into this. Like, you're totally talking about me in a public way, putting words in my mouth that I have dehumanizing, like, whatever. Right. So I reached out to her and I just said, wow, like, I'm shocked. Like, we can talk about this if you want, but like, you shouldn't say those things about me. That's not true at all. Like, I love everybody. Right. Any community you're in, I love you. So I'm shocked by this behavior. If you want to paint over the mural, that's fine, but don't say that publicly about me. Yeah. Like, really?
Right. Well, now she's tying you in with a belief politically and trying to utilize this hate towards a candidate
for monetary.
To profit.
Yeah. That's where I'm like,
whoa. You want to do that? If you want to get a new mural, fine. Say, hey, look, we're raising money
for a new
mural.
That's it. Leave it at that. So I'm like, well, the fact that you brought me into it, I will have something to say about it, and I won't be silent about this. I'm not just going to let someone publicly bash me and roll over. So yeah, I had my piece, and it's all fizzled out now and stuff, but it definitely brought some interesting people out of the woodwork.
Of course.
Definitely.
Lines were drawn. Shots were fired.
Yes. It was very interesting. It definitely shined a light on some people that I was very surprised about who, maybe went a different way, which is fine. But yeah, I've just
I think it's really interesting how when people publicly say what they are, like, it gets that, like, backlash. Yeah. It's really interesting. So it's tough. It's a reason why I don't like talking about what I am either.
Yeah.
I mean, I do privately.
Yeah. But, and I've never shared anything before, but I've also never been educated at all in politics. And now after COVID and everything, it's like I notice things, and I am a full-blown tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy all the way. I'd say I'm a seeker of truth. Right. I just want to know what's real.
Yeah, what's going on.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. To question things, like to ask questions. So I don't think, and if that offends someone, that's your problem. But
it's just sad that we live in a world where it's so hard to find the truth.
Yes.
That's all it really comes down to, is we want to know the truth. Mm-hmm. And it's so weird how one truth can be it's like you put something out truthful, and then you got, nope, that's not true because of this. And then someone says, yes, it is true because of this. And it's like, what is the truth?
Right. The water is really muddy.
What is going on?
Forever muddy, yeah. So I just...
it's just wild. It's just
been
really
interesting.
And then all these partial truths, which are another form of lying. So it's like this one thing happened, but then like, well, this other part happened, so like that changes the whole story, though.
Right.
It's wild.
Yeah. We'll never know full truths.
But
I'll keep digging just for fun.
Know. Yes. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. I think that is a messed up thing, and I hope people come to realize that at the end of the day, you are Erica Arndts, the artiste, and
I love it.
And you're just there to very simply go back to the beginning of what we talked about, which is to beautify spaces and put smiles on faces.
Right.
Come on, people.
Yeah. People liked that mural in Atlanta.
Unbelievable.
And what's wild
You
is
really
that
think people are looking at that mural and like, I think that person that painted that 8 years ago
she
likes Trump.
Yeah.
You know, what? No.
Well, and what's wild is the mural was burlesque dancers painted it. It was. Someone asked me, they're like, well, did you paint Trump on their building? I'm like, no, you would have thought I did. But no, I painted this 8 years ago, and it was for their business. But it was just, they were just so upset that I did this painting of Trump.
I'm going to have to, I don't want to go, I'm going to say this, but it's crazy. It's like, I don't know where people get off by doing that. And it's like, it's almost like, I get if somebody says, I painted that painting and like comes out that guy's like a child molester, right? And you're like, damn, that guy's a bad person.
Yeah.
I get that. But like to relate a painting for being a Trump supporter, which is like really leaning more towards of treating that person like a child molester in that example. I know they're different and I know those are extremes, but like, please explain to me how you're treating these two people differently. Right. Because in reality, you're treating them the same.
Yeah, they're doing everything that they're against.
That's sick. Yeah. Like, the painting job, the mural, was beautiful. It worked perfectly for the building. It's great. It's 100% fit. It's a match. And then it's like, oh wait, 8 years later.
No.
Because of a political point of view? Right. That to me blows my mind.
Right. Makes for a great story, though.
Yeah. Could you imagine someone be like, I bought this couch 8 years ago from this guy, but
found out
that he likes Harris.
Right. Now I got to burn it.
Yeah, now I got to burn it.
And I'm going to actually ask my neighbor to buy me a new one.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
To raise money to buy me a new one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just
or whatever the political view is. I was just using
the
that as an
donations
example.
part. Yeah, all of it was just.
It just blows my mind. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's a very interesting moment in time.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that. And I'm glad you got to tell your story here as well.
Yeah.
Well, we are wrapping up, but before we do, I do want to leave on a positive note, and that is a project you just got done currently doing that excited you, and you briefly talked about it, doing a train car. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so there's a new brewery, distillery in Hocking Hills, or specifically Nelsonville, and they're doing something really neat. I'm not really allowed to talk about it just yet. Top secret, but I painted some imagery on a train car that's going to be used for the brewery and the distillery, and it'll be parked on the train tracks right behind it. So, and I did some work for the interior for them, just painted their logo on there. And I'll be going back there in a few weeks to paint another train car. And now I'm thinking like, I want to paint more train cars.
Yeah.
This is so fun. And working in the environment, just having these enormous structures, these old trains all around you, it was really neat. Like,
that is cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The guys at the engine house were really great. They, like, one guy's been there for 40 years. That just really
I'm sure you got a wealth of
neat
knowledge there.
Guys, yeah. Just a cool environment. Not the typical painting environment that I've been in. So I'm looking forward to going back.
Okay, well that's cool. You think it's gonna be warming up though? I know it's getting cool.
Gosh, in 2 weeks you don't know.
Yeah, you never know with
Who
Ohio.
knows? Ohio could be 80 or it could be 20.
Right.
Maybe low 70s would be great.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Well, Erica, that pretty much wraps it up. Tell everyone, how do we get a hold of you?
You can find me on social media. Instagram is at Erica Arndts, Facebook, Erica Arndts, and my website is ericaarndts.com.
There we go.
And I do have a really neat little Etsy shop that I just opened up. It's ericaarndtsstudio.etsy.com.
All right, good.
All kinds of
we'll
stuff.
make sure we get that all posted up there for you.
Yeah, great.
Well, would you like to leave us with any words of wisdoms, or I should say, good advice before we
Man, I would
partake,
say
or
just
I should say depart?
I think stuff that I live by is just the present moment is the only thing that we're guaranteed in this life. So make every moment count. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. We're not guaranteed an hour from now. So every moment of every day is a blessing, and just make them count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful, wonderful words of wisdom. Well, Erica, I appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Frank. Good
It was
to
a blast.
see ya.
I had a fun time. I hope you did too.
I did.
Okay.
We need to do the basement
Yes,
chats.
we will.
Rabbit hole. What was that?
Underground rabbit hole.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Get me in on
I got the website. I got to get it all going.
Yeah.
I'm waiting until I ever can get a couple
I'll be
recorded.
making my tinfoil hat in the
Yeah,
meantime.
you can wear it there.
I will.
We could talk crazy there. All right, Erica, it was great seeing you.
You
And thanks for coming
too.
on.
All right, thanks, Frank.
Subscribe and follow to our Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform. Be sure to sign up for our email list and receive an email to watch the show Wednesday at 8 a.m. Do you know a great Dayton business that you would like to see on the show? Visit our website at DaytonApproved.com and click on the Contact tab and tell us who you'd like to see.